The next part of this week's activities talks about measuring, and it could be fun and help visualize for the students to find the 4 different units of customary measurement for liquid volume. I have a glass measuring cup. The Tazo container is about 1 quart, and obviously I have a gallon of milk. To help go along with the pictures at the top of the sheet to help them better visualize the size. So the first questions here are asking you to circle the best estimate. An estimate, again, is a word to guess about how much these 3 different containers can hold. So a typical water bottle, could it hold 1 pint or 1 gallon? When we think about 1 pint as being about the size of a milk carton and a gallon being about the size of a gallon of milk, most water bottles are not as big and as heavy as a gallon of milk. So that's why 1 pint is the better estimate there. To number 2, we have a kiddie pool here, something that a little baby would play in. So looking at my picture here with the measuring cup, would I be able to fill this kiddie pool with only 20 cups? Or would I be able to fill this kiddie pool with 20 gallons of milk? Well, a kiddie pool is much bigger than this water bottle and that cup, so the best estimate here would be 20 gallons. And lastly, this blender. Would I be able to fill the blender using only 2 cups? Or would I be able to fill the blender with about 2 quarts? The best estimate or guess here would be about 2 quarts. Again, that 2 cups is not going to be enough to fill it the whole way. Coming down to the bottom here, we have some word problems that we need to solve. So reading it says that there were 3 quarts of cold water in the bucket. So here they gave me a picture of a bucket and each line represents 1 quart. So the bucket is 1, 2, 3 filled to here with cold water. Then Sam added, that's an important key word, 5 quarts of hot water. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now all of that here is hot water. How many quarts of water are in the bucket? So I know the numbers I'm going to use are 3 and 5. And if I had to figure out how many there are in the bucket, well, the bucket is 1 big container. So it's asking me for the total. It's asking me to add 3 plus 5 is 8 quarts of water. My second one says Omar bought a 35-gallon fish tank right there. He is filling it with a bucket that holds 5 gallons of water. How many buckets of water will he need to fill the tank? So this 35 gallons is my total amount that it can hold. And I'm filling it with 5 gallons each time. So that sounds like equal groups, which means I would multiply or maybe divide here, which makes 5 then a partner. So I could write 2 different equations here. I could write this as 5 times a number I don't know, that's how many times I would have to fill it to equal to 35 gallons. Or I could think about this as 35 gallons divided by 5 equals the number I don't know. Either way, the equation would match the situation here. Trying to figure out this missing partner, the easiest solution would be to skip count by 5s, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I counted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So it would take 7 buckets full to fill the 35-gallon tank. Then the worksheets that talk about weight, we're talking about ounces and pounds. And a great way to help visualize and understand ounces and pounds would be to get a paper clip, because an ounce is about the weight of a paper clip, and a pound is about the weight of a tennis shoe or a soccer ball, just to help the students better understand what that weight feels like. So for a bowling ball in number 1, would I want to measure it using ounces or pounds? I would want to measure it in pounds. Bowling balls are heavy, so I would measure it in pounds. Tennis ball, pretty lightweight. If I think about a tennis ball compared to a soccer ball, there's definitely a noticeable difference. So for tennis balls, I would say ounces. And same thing with this quarter. It's going to be measured in ounces as well, because it's a very lightweight object. Here, we're going to skip, or we're not going to skip these, We're not going to measure them in grams or kilograms. We're still going to use ounces and pounds. So for a pumpkin, I would measure it in pounds, right? Pumpkins are heavy, and much heavier than a paper clip. Desk, another very heavy object, I would measure it in pounds. Pencil, that's a lightweight object. I would measure a pencil in ounces. And again, here you are estimating. Anytime you see grams, you could replace it with ounces, and kilograms you could replace with pounds. We no longer have to worry about the metric system, but our workbook pages still include it. So just change it to pounds and ounces. Then you have some word problems here at the bottom, very similar to the ones that talked about liquid capacity. It says Chris bought a 20-pound bag of rice. He puts equal amounts of the rice into 10 smaller bags. Equal amounts sounds like equal groups, which makes me think I could multiply or divide. How many pounds did he put into the smaller bags? So he's starting with a total of 20 pounds. And then he's splitting it into 10 smaller bags. And I want to know how much is in the bag. But I could also write this as multiplication. Either way would be acceptable. 20 divided by 10 is 2. Number 12, again, they used grams. We're going to just change that to ounces. It says a recipe has 325 ounces of whole wheat flour and 225 ounces of white flour. How much flour does it have in all? Now, because it's asking me in all, it's asking to find a total amount here. So that makes 375 and 225 partners that are going to add up to my total amount. Well, I have 5 plus 5 makes 10. 70 plus 20 is 90. Plus 10 more makes 100. 300 plus 200, 500, 600. So there's about 600 ounces of flour.